Okay, this is Chapter 2, Lesson 6, Estimate with Percents. At this point in time, we should be able to answer this essential question, at least in a general formulated idea that maybe you're not 100% sure how to answer it, but maybe you should be able to. It is the essential question that we've been asking this entire chapter is, when is it better to use a fraction, a decimal, or a percent? I mentioned that fractions are pretty much used when you're talking about, cooking directions. They're made in cups and half cups and stuff like that. They're not 0.5 of a cup. A decimal, basketball players use it to see their shooting average. Whoops, see, I was wrong right there. They use percent, shooting percent. Decimals are used in baseball, believe it or not. That's what a batting average is a decimal. So you can see that all these things are used throughout the entire spectrum of our lives. A grading test, I would use a percent. I wouldn't use a decimal. But a decimal is easily changed to a percent, isn't it? All right. The lesson essential question is, when is an estimate more useful than exact answer? I'll go ahead and answer that a little bit later on to make you listen to the video. Okay, so remember to pay attention. Remember to answer that. Okay. Movies. Josephina surveyed 298 students and found that 52% like scary movies. Estimate the number of students that like scary movies. Now look, estimation can be very tricky at times because what you want to do is you want to get a general idea of what it is. Are we going to worry about 298 students? No, we're going to round that number up. So we're going to round 298 up to 300. Okay? And then we're going to round 52% down to 50%. Okay? So as you can do this, and that's what they've done here. All right? They've cut this into 4 blocks here. They've cut this whole thing into 4 blocks. I'll try to show you what I'm talking about, right? And in 4 blocks, when you divide 100 by 4, they go in 25 spurts. 25, 50, 75, and 100. Okay? And like we said, we've rounded 298 to 300. All right, and now what we want to do is we want to see what 50% of that looks like. So this is our 50% mark. So approximately 150 students, about 150 students like scary movies, okay? That's all there is. You're going to do some rounding. You're going to try to get some things done, all right? Now, write the common percent from 0 to 100 at the top of the bar diagram, right? The common percents that we did in were 25, 50, and 75. Excuse me, I just burped a little bit. What common percent is 52 close to? I've already told you that it rounds to 50%. Okay? Shade the bar diagram above to show your answer, right? This is the 50% mark. Yeehaw. Oh joy. Then it says round 298 to the nearest 100. So I've already done that. We know that number is 300. Now, I've obviously done all this for you. Okay? But you should be able to do most of this on your own. Use the bar diagram to estimate 52% of 298. Now right here is where we did it, right? So we said that approximately 150 students like scary movies, okay? Now it says to explain. What we did is we rounded 298 to 300 and rounded. See if there's a little more room under here. There is. And we rounded 52% to 50%. Okay? The reason why we do this rounding, this estimation is important because when we're going to the store, we need to have an amount of money. We're not sure how much everything costs, and we know that there are certain ideas that need to be estimated. So that's why they teach this estimation thing. It's to teach you how to use your mental math, believe it or not. This is very mental math heavy. All right? Now, it says use the bar diagram below to estimate 73% of 400. Go ahead and pause my video and see if you can do this on your own. All right? I'll give you 2 seconds. 1, 2. There, you're done. You should have paused this video. Now that you're back from that pause, you should be able to do this. All right? So, do we need to round 400? Let's look at the number first. Do we need to round that 400? No, right? There's no need to. It's already a nice round number. Okay? Now, here's the next part. The 73%. Do we want to make it 73%? No, we want to make it the closest thing to an easy percent. And easy percents are 25, 50, and 75. So we're going to round 73% to 75%. Okay? And then you can easily see that this is the chunk they're talking about. All right? So when we estimated 73% of 400 is approximately 300. It's not exact, but it's close, you know? All right. Estimating with percents will provide a reasonable solution to many real-world problems. Very true. Okay? Choose compatible numbers. Choose compatible numbers when estimating the percent of a number. It's very important that we use compatible numbers, and what they mean is numbers that are easy to work with the percent that you're dealing with. Okay? So right here, we'll just start on this one, right? This first example here. All right? So we estimate 47% of 692 people. See, the first thing that we would do is estimate it to be 50%. Okay? We take 47 and we round it to 50%, right? And then we round 692 to 700. It's a nice round, easy number to deal with, 700. Okay? And then you just take 50% of 700, which is 350. Okay? Now they turned it into a fraction. I'm okay with that. Okay? Because you should know that 50% is half of something. Okay? And if you do it out, you should be able to recognize that when you take a percent, you just take that number and you put it over 100, and then this shrinks down when you divide out 50 from it, because they both are divisible by 50, it goes down to 1/2. Okay, that's what they're talking about here. All right, you don't have to copy everything that I write. The main thing that I want filled out are the blanks in the book. Okay, you don't have to write all that if you don't want to, but I would, just because then that's notes for you. All right, now it says estimate 60% of 27. Now, I'm okay with 60%, but if you're not comfortable with 60%, I would round it. I would take 60% down to 50%, and then I would take 27 up to 30, and then that's an easier number to deal with. But what they're trying to show you here is that 60% is 3/5. Okay, because we know that you should be able to do this. If you take 60%, you put it over 100. Right? Start dividing out. Look, we can divide out of 10 instantly. Okay? That's 6 over 10. All right? And we can easily divide out of 2. Well, not really a division symbol. That's okay. Let me erase it and do it a little bit better. All right? Division. There we go. Divide out of 2. All right? We get 3/5. That's where they get 3/5 for. And I'll give you another hint. 20% is 1/5. 40%, 2/5. We already know 3/5. 80%, 4/5. Okay, 100%, whatever, right? All right. So what they did is, instead of rounding 27 to 30 like I would have done, they rounded 27 down to 25, which is okay. Okay, because they want an easy number that is divisible by your denominator. This is the number that they're looking to divide by. All right, because 25 is easily divisible by 5, because that's our denominator here. That's what they're trying to show you here. Is that's what you're trying to make the compatible numbers are divisible by your denominator. That's very important. Compatible numbers are divisible by your denominator. Okay, that's what they mean by compatible numbers. All right, so then they draw this little bar diagram. If you want to do the bar diagram, I'm okay with it. Let me erase that dot. Okay, I'm okay with that. And then you can see that 60% is 15, right? You want to shade it in. I don't really care what you do. All right, that's how I would do it. All right, I don't think there's anything else here. Okay, so 35, 3/5 of 25 is 3 times 5, or 15. So 60% of 27 is about 15. Okay. All right, let's try to estimate each of these percents. Go ahead and pause my video. Try to do these on your own. If you can't, at least try to pause on C to do C. Okay, but try to do a couple of these on your own. All right, give you a second to pause my video. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and work with 48%. So 48%, we're going to round to, is approximately 50%. Okay, now half of 76 you should easily be able to do, right? We could take actually half of 76, but I would even round that to 80. I would make 76 is approximately 80. Now 50%, whoop, I almost put 5%, it's wrong. Now 50%, or half, of 80 is what? 40. Okay? Half of 80 is 40. If you want to draw that little bar diagram again, that's fine. That's up to you, right? Split it up into fours. 1, 2, 3, 4. 80's here. Every 20 is, right? It's 25, 30, sorry, not 30, 50%. I'm just going to scribble that out. And then that's 75%, and that's 100%. Okay, if that bar diagram helps you, do the bar diagram. I'm okay with it. Okay, and then you should be able to shade up into 50%, and then you can see that it's 40. All right. Next one, B. 18% of 42. 18% is the same thing as 20%, or 1/5. Remember we talked about that before? Okay. Now, I would round 42 up to 45 or down to 40. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, it's really up to you. All right. But I will go ahead and take 42 and round it up. I would round it up. I'd say 42 is approximately 45. And then if you take 1/5 of 45, right? Right? 1/5 of 45 is what? 9, right? So 1/5 of 40. Well, here, I'll show you how to actually do the actual multiplication, right? Of 45. Remember, a whole number you just put over 1. Now you cross simplify. And you got 9 over 1, or 9. Okay? That's how you do the actual math of it. Same with over here for A. You say half times 80. Put that over 1. See? 40. Okay? That's how you do the math of it. All right. This one's a little rough looking. All right? I'll take 73%. You should try this one on your own, by the way. And round that up to 75%. I would go ahead and take 41 and lower that down to 40%. I mean 40. I didn't mean to say percent. All right. And then what I would do is you can take, now 75 is what? 3/4, right? You know that 75 is 3/4. You should be able to know that. That 1/4 is 25%. 2/4, which is 1/2, which equals 1/2, equals what? 50%. And then 3/4 is equal to 75%. It'd be handy for you to memorize those. You should memorize 1/5, 1/4. Those are all important numbers to memorize. And you just multiply this by 40. Right? Put the 1 over it. Divide by 4, right? And then 3 times 10 is 30. If you didn't like that way, you could draw your little bar diagram if you want to. You don't have to do this. Once you've done it, once you've solved it, solve it. But you have 40 over here. You got to divide this up into 4 parts. So this would be 10, 20, 30. You're going to have 100% over here. This is again 75%, 50%, 25. Okay, and then you fill up the bar all the way up to 75% because that's what we estimated it to be. Okay, and then you would see that this is 30. All right. Not too bad. It shouldn't take you too long to do this. Try to burn through this lesson pretty quickly. All right, here we go. Polar bears can eat as much as 10% of their body weight in less than 1 hour. If an adult male polar bear weighs 715 pounds, about how much food can he eat in 1 hour? Okay, here's what I would do. Now, they're going to show you 2 methods here. I prefer method 2, I believe. Okay, but method 1, if you can work with method 1, go ahead. All right. They use equivalent ratios, okay? So what they did is we know that we're working with 10%, okay? And that's a funny number. We're not going to use 715. 715 is about 700, okay? And they even do that here. You notice, okay? They do that right there. All right? So you need, what is 10%, okay? And then what they do, as I'll go ahead and show you what they do here, is they go ahead and put 700 on the bottom here. All right? Now, how do you get 10 to look like 700? You multiply by 70. Whatever you do to one number, you do to the other. Right? This is just equivalent ratios. We've been doing this forever. You should be able to do this now on your own without too much help. Okay? Now, that's doing it with equivalent ratios. Okay? And the unknown value is 70. We figured that out pretty quick, right? That's one way. Now, the way that I'm going to show you next is the way that I would suggest you get used to. Because what they're going, well, no, I don't like this one. This is, so neither one of these I really like. I'm going to show you a third way, which is a third way I like completely better. Okay? They do this mental math thing, and I don't know if you can do that, but you can if you want to. Another method 3, is change percent into decimal, right? So we got 10%, and 10% as a decimal equals 0.1, because you move the thing over 2 spots, right? You move the decimal over 2 places, you get 0.1. And then you take 700 times 0.1. So it's change percent into decimal and multiply. Okay, that's my favorite method. Okay, so you got 007, right? You got 1, you got to give it 1. So 10%, or 10%, sorry, I don't know what I'm doing here. 10%, 700 equals 70. Okay? I prefer to do it with decimals. You better get used to it, because the next chapter, the next lesson is going to be, you're going to be doing that. So you might as well get used to that. All right? Feel you got these problems? Try these. Try this one by yourself. All right? Try this one by yourself. Pause the video and try it. All right. So Kaylee decided to donate 30% of her savings. If she had $238 in her savings account, about how much will she donate? Okay, so you got 30%. Okay, and you got 200. We're going to leave 30% as it is. So now we got to mess with 238. 238. I would round up to probably 250. Yeah, 250. And then what you do is, I'm going to use, do we want to make it 250? I don't really like 250, because it's not easy to work with 30. All right? I would go ahead and make that 240. Yeah, 240. Let's make that 240. Okay? 240. Now that you made that 240, you can now what is 30%? That's 3 over 10, right? 30% is equivalent to, actually it's equivalent to this, but then you strike out both zeros and you got 3/10, right? So then what you can do is you take 3/10, right? And you want this to be equivalent to 240. Or even 250. We'd have been okay with 250. How do you get 10 to look like 240? You multiply it by 24. Okay? The same thing up here. You multiply this by 24. And then 3 times 24 is 2, carry the 1, 6, 72. Okay? And it's 72. So you can see this is about $72. Now, I don't know why I thought 30. So I would have been okay with 250. If you'd put 250, that would have been okay. And then it would have been a little bit bigger of a number. It would have been, 3/10 is equivalent to 250. Then you're just multiplying by 25, then times 25. You do the same here, times 25, and you come up with 75, okay? Either one of these answers I would accept, okay? When I give you a test like this, I would make sure that the percents, that the estimating percents would be something you write in instead of having a multiple choice answer. And show you and I would show you my way one more time. Let me just show you my way. Is let me extend the page. 30% is equivalent to 0.3, right? And we take 240 or 250, however you want to do it, and multiply it by 0.3. 0, 2, carry the 1, 7. You got 1 behind the decimal, so you got to give it one space in decimal. So then you put 0.3 times 240 equals 72. Okay, so she gave approximately $72. It's a little less than that, but that's okay. All right, using estimate using the ratio per 100. I'm okay with using this, but I mean, because now you're just using like ratios or equivalent ratios, which is okay. All right, so here's what they're doing here. Estimate 17% out of 198. What they're doing is that they're just going to put 17 over 100, okay? And then we're going to make 198 equal to 200. So you got 200 here, okay? You got this by multiplying by 2, so you multiply this by 2. They do a little something shady here that I don't really like. I don't like this adding stuff. We don't add anymore. We multiply and divide for right now. Okay, we obviously do add, but we don't really add all that much. All right, and this comes out to about 34, and that's true. All right, let's go down here to the next one. Okay, an airline records the snacks orders for passengers. Last year, 9% of all passengers ordered ginger ale to drink. There are 480 passengers on the flight to Houston, Texas. About how many passengers does the airline expect to order ginger ale on this flight? Okay, so again, 9% is equivalent to 9 over 100. This is just the very definition of a percent. A number being compared to 900 or compared to 100, right? And then instead of taking 408, we're going to make it 400. Well, let me move that down. All right. So now we have 9 over 100 is equivalent to 400 over something. You multiply, the way you did this is you multiply by 4, right? Multiply by 4. 9 times 4 is 36. So they're expecting approximately 36 passengers to order ginger ale. And let's see how right we are. Look at that. Right on the nose. Okay? Now we're going to estimate using rate per 100 with all these. Okay? So we leave 27%. Whoop, I put 72. My dyslexia kicked in there for a second. Sorry about that. 27% is equivalent to 27 over 100. Okay? We're going to take 307, and 307 is approximately 300. So we take 27 over 300. Okay? over 27 over 100 and equate it to 300 on the bottom. So you multiply this by 3, so do the same here, multiply this by 3. That's 1, carry the 2, 3, 6, 7, 71. Okay? Again, with 76%. 76%, the very definition of a percent is a number being compared to 100. A ratio of a number being compared to 100. We're going to take 192, approximate that to be 200, and we're going to have 76 over 100 is equivalent to 200 under. So this is multiplied by 2, so you multiply this by 2. It's 12 carry 14, so 152. All right, not too bad. Now, I want you to try G by yourself, okay? Give you a second thought. You should try all these by yourself, all right? But try G by yourself and then see how you did compared to what I'm going to do here. Okay, so last year, 24% of the zoo visitors were under the age of 3. Last week, the zoo had 996 visitors. About how many of the zoo visitors were under the age of 3? So 24% is the same as 24 over 100. Okay, we're going to take 996, and that's about 1,000. Then we're going to take 24 over 100. Okay, is equal to something over 1,000. Okay, you multiply this by 10, so just multiply this by 10. 240. Okay, all right. Go ahead and start the guided practice. When you're done with the guided practice, come up here and check your answers. I will actually check them to see if you're actually doing them right. Then if you don't understand what you're doing, you need to see me for more instructions. Or if you do know what you're doing, go ahead and start the extra practice. Remember, it's very important that you are not just copying answers down. You are trying every one of these. Okay, I'm trying to make you a better student by doing this. Okay? All right. Thank you. Thank you.